Flight of the Mechanist! Come, my robots! Let's finish this!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Collin and Curtis in the Morning. It's Easter weekend. Collin is gone, so he's not here. I've got a wedding on Friday, so we're recording a little earlier, and I've dragged Brad into this.
I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot seat. How are you doing?
Pretty good tonight.
Good.
How you doing, Curtis?
I'm okay. I've been sitting here this whole week, waking up and being like, man, one of my best friends is getting married this Friday. And, like, having that revelation every single day. And
That's
just how weird.
That's pretty crazy.
It feels, yeah. But also exciting. But it's been a kind of a light news week. Nothing too crazy. So I've had some crazy rumors. But you're in here, so I picked some topics specifically for you that we'll get to.
Good stuff. Am I the first one to replace one of you? On a temporary basis?
I had Eric, I think last month. Collin was gone. So,
Versus.
yeah, so Eric did come in, and I figured, well, we'll drag you in now. And like
sounds
that,
good.
so there's like that rotation. But at any rate, we'll just rapid fire through some of this news. Battleborn, the hotly anticipated MOBA hero shooter, whatever, that's going into open beta on April 8th.
Am I supposed to be excited about this?
No, I'm not.
I'm not either.
There's a penguin character, and I'm not even excited about it.
Wow.
That tells you a lot.
I was at Foy's down in Fairborn.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like little wind-up penguin toys. You should probably stop in.
I probably should.
Maybe I'll check out that beta. It's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be Team Fortressy?
I think it's more MOBA. Maybe. I don't know. I downloaded Smite.
Okay.
Because that's free. I haven't played it, but I downloaded it just to check it out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'll talk more about that later on, I guess. No Time to Explain is coming out on PS4 next week. So we actually... it seems like you and I both at least know of this game. It's been around. It was out on PC a few years back. This is... Basically, I know it's like a 2D platformer. The thing I know about it is that it opens up with yourself from the future, jumping through a portal, saying, I need you to come with me, there's no time to explain, and then he immediately gets killed. And so it's kind of this very fast-paced platformer with a lot of hazards in your way as you're trying to make your way through to different portals. It just seems super crazy.
Yeah, I can remember seeing this like the first time I went to PAX all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So... cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's coming on PS4. See, is there any like upgrades to it, or is it just
probably
ported?
not. It's probably just now it's on console.
There we go.
We get a lot of that. Griffin
that
Knight
seems to
Epic.
be a lot of what we get these days.
Yeah. Griffin Knight Epic is coming out on PS4 next week. That's a kind of side-scrolling shoot 'em up. You are a knight riding a griffin. It seems kind of crazy. I don't know. But that is also another game that I believe has been out on PC for a little while and is now coming to console. And PS4 is kind of your destination, your hot destination for all your indie hits right now. So, anyways...
Hitagata Happa? That was the old one? No. Gundonium. That
sounds familiar.
Gundemonium? Recollection? That's kind of what yeah.
Something like that.
That's what I remember, like, back from PS3. There were, like, these anime side-scrolling shmups, and that's kind of what it looks like to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. And then, in sad news, Evolution Studios has been shut down this week by Sony. They, of course, recently did Drive Club, and then MotorStorm before that. Some other racing games. I don't know if we've ever really talked about racing games. Are you... MotorStorm, Drive Club, any of that ever?
Not really my
Yeah.
bag. And not really yours either, huh?
No, MotorStorm maybe slightly. I'm much more into arcade racing.
Yeah.
And I know Drive Club wasn't quite sim, but I don't think it was arcade enough for me either. Still sad, especially now that, because it was Studio Liverpool a few years back, and now Evolution Studios is gone, so Sony is basically left with the Gran Turismo team. And that is their racing stuff. And the arcade racing fan of me is bummed out about that. But those things tend to happen, and Drive Club had a very rocky start. So, unfortunately, those things happen, but that is essentially our news, not a whole lot else to really discuss this week. However, we're going to move into our brand new segment, Breaking It Down with Brad.
All right. Nice segment.
Yeah.
Nice bump music right there. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. I've been saving it for a while. So, Brad, I picked this out just for you.
Okay.
James Arnold Taylor is the voice actor for Titus, whichever camp you fall into.
I'm Team Titus. You?
I've always been Titus. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eric's more of a Titus.
Yeah, I much like Ico or Eco. I always said Ico for the longest time, and then I discovered the internet and heard people say Eco, and that kind of weirded me out. It was the same deal with Titus. So Indeed. I believe this week for the first time publicly, he talked about the infamous laughing scene in Final Fantasy X,
which we've lampooned dozens of times on our various podcasts.
Right, and I know
it's just a great memory. It just sticks with you.
It's one of the handful of scenes from that game that whenever you that's probably the one. Like when you mention Final Fantasy X, there's a lot of people that immediately just jump to that scene.
So you remember, I picked up the HD collection again. Remember, I bought it twice.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna go for the Platy on the Quattro because it was it was more updated.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to buy a player's guide so I could get the full Platy and not miss any Albed primers or use a guide to catch all the monsters, etc.
Right.
Would you know that the HD remake player's guide is insanely rare now?
Really?
It's impossible to find.
Was it just maybe a low print run?
It must have been a super low print because I see it going for hundreds of dollars now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's not even that good of a guide.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a guide, not have to use a game fact like I'm a kid, you know?
Was any of the guide updated for the remake, or was it just hey, it's the one that we put out forever ago?
I mean, maybe a little better redesign.
Okay. That's interesting. That's strange.
Huh. So if you ever see one,
I'll let you know.
At a steal price, you just grab that thing.
I'll grab it and I'll message you.
Because it comes with
hey.
It comes with that one and the X2 guide.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Crazy.
I guess that might be the different thing. Is that they
but anyway,
just come together.
back to the topic though is the voice actor actually spoke about the infamous scene.
Yeah. So he it's a short little video. It basically he just very bluntly is that's just the way the scene was written. Is it was written to be awkward and weird, and it was written for them to kind of be very self-aware about how strange it is because they kind of laugh it off. But he does give some little tidbits of information about when you do voice acting in a game and how that's done. And the thing I told you before recording that I found interesting is I'm aware that typically you're in separate rooms when you're doing voice acting between characters.
Right.
But the thing he said is it sounded like him and then the actress who did Yuna had not even been in the same building together at the same time up until that scene. Yeah. Which I found really interesting because you would think that you would at least be there at the same time or have
a couple conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Final Fantasy.
But, I guess maybe it was, 2000, 2001, so things were a little bit different then.
Mm-hmm.
Voice acting was relatively new for the most part, but I thought it was an interesting video. I think the scene's funny. It's goofy.
It'll always stick with you, and
yeah.
Look, I don't want to use the word charm, right? But it'll always be a bit of the character of that game that you'll always remember, and it's why it's one of the best games ever made.
It's a fantastic game.
And I've been screwing up. I'm playing that stupid Final Fantasy Record Keeper again.
Okay.
That stupid downloadable free game.
Mm-hmm.
And they just keep giving out a lot of free stuff. So I keep logging in.
Have you been switching between that and Nico Atsume?
I've been slowing down on Nico Atsume.
Okay. I thought that got updated. I don't know what the update is.
I think there's some new cats and there's a new pose.
Mm-hmm.
But by playing that, I have an all FF10 team.
Yeah.
I have Jekt.
Okay.
It's great.
That's pretty great. Yeah, I mean, I've I don't know. I've always been totally fine with that scene. I just love the fact that he's like talking about
He's
it.
talking about it. It's great.
That's great.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in the market for a PS4 controller?
No.
Okay.
I've got two. I'm
There
good.
is a new color,
Mm-hmm.
gray-blue,
Oh yeah.
that goes with Uncharted.
Yeah.
And it's on sale for $50 right now.
Okay.
There's also multiple other colors. I kind of want to hold out. I want to get one of those gray 20th anniversary controllers.
Yeah.
I see it's back in stock and back down to $65, but
I'm kind of hoping that they do a special like limited Final Fantasy 15 thing.
okay.
And I'm hoping there's like a controller that you can buy.
Man, we are gonna podcast the hell out of that game.
Yeah. We should do some I like am I
Yeah.
wrong in thinking you and I are probably the two that are most excited about that game? of
Curtis,
our
we played the
site?
demo and we recorded like a 2-hour long discussion
so-
about it. So yeah,
Just making sure because next week we're getting the release date for that game
oh man,
and more information. We should talk more, but we should
I'm
do some
excited.
more stuff about that game. I am so stoked about it. Yes, we should do stuff, but I'm hoping. I imagine that game probably is prime for like a limited edition console, so I'm hoping there's a controller that I
Yeah.
can just buy separately that has
Probably.
like a real nice little like classy logo on the side or something. I don't know. Just put Noctis's face on the side of the controller. So that's our Final Fantasy discussion. So Fallout got DLC, the first bit of DLC this week, Automatron.
yes,
Just
it
the
did.
first of 4. Is it 3 or 4?
Well, it's the first of 3 announced DLCs
Okay.
right now,
Mhm.
but they're promising probably upwards of 6, maybe more. I don't know. This was an interesting scheme by Bethesda.
Yeah.
They gave out 0 information and expected you to buy the season pass
Mm-hmm.
for $30. And then they announced the stuff and then said, "Hey, we're actually going to announce a lot more. So buy the season pass these next few weeks."
Yeah.
Before we jack the price up, because we think we're going to give you $50 worth of content.
And it went up, was it $10?
It went up $20.
Oh,
It's
20,
it's a $50 add-on now.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't realize it went up that much.
I grabbed it on Green Man Gaming for
Yeah.
$26 on sale.
And that was the original price, I think.
Correct.
Or
On
was it-
sale.
It was on. Okay.
There was like a little 20% or
Okay.
10% off.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with getting that,
Mhm.
whatever. I'm
mean, that was-
big on this game. I still play it a lot, so I got it on PC. Now you have it on the PS4 now?
Yep.
Okay, so how much do you play of it?
I've not played any of it yet.
All right.
I'm hoping to dig in probably the next week or so, just to give it a shot. I'll be honest, the Automatron was not the one that interested me. It's the bigger, because like they even broke them out to kind of talk when they announced it. There was like Automatron's like kind of smaller, in the grand scheme of things, but there's the ship one. There's one that's actually like a whole new map. I don't remember the name of it.
It's like something Harbor, Cold Harbor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm itching to play for. It's got like new factions. It's the biggest landmass they've added as DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they would just add. See, I'm worried like you'll probably take a boat and go to the new map or something.
Oh,
but
sure.
I wish they would just add it onto the map.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Just okay, the map has been shifted northward.
Mhm.
Not gonna happen, but
It seems similar to, because Fallout 3 had, what was it? It was like point outlook, or I don't remember. There was another one that was like a whole, or a few of them did it, I think, but there was one specifically that I remember really liking a lot that had like a new map. There was like a Ferris wheel or something. And I seem to remember that was also similar, where it's like you took a boat and then now you're in this new area.
Yep.
So Automatron, you said you finished it.
correct.
Just kind of thoughts on that in general?
So I think this one goes for like $10.
Mhm.
I don't know, $6, whatever. Theory of pricing DLC, it's all out the window.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot. It gives you a new companion. It kind of seems like there's actually some cut content from it.
Really?
Like one of the characters seems like they should be a companion, but they're just not.
Huh.
It doesn't add a whole lot. It adds a new a new gang to the game, which is interesting, called the Rust Devils.
Okay.
So they're real Mad Max looking, but it's all about robots, and they like wear like gutted robots as armor.
That's interesting.
They
That's
have like
cool.
you know how like how the super mutants have their like gross like bags everywhere, like meat bags. Replace those with like robot bags.
Okay.
It's like that kind of aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I really like the aesthetic to it overall though. It's very dark, torchlit kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not. It's,
is there? So is this like a? Are there new areas you're going to in this, or is it?
So there's like you revisit like 2 areas, and they've added like a big dungeon under one of them.
Okay.
And that's your main area that you spend the majority of the amount of time exploring. Okay. The dungeon's kind of neat. It took about an hour to go through.
Okay.
So it's pretty deep, interconnected, and I will say Fallout 4 is very good about these very deep dungeons you have to explore, always having a nice immediate exit at the end.
Yeah.
They always seem to shoehorn that in pretty well, so.
Just find a way for you to be like, oh, I've gone way underground, but look at this. There's this really conveniently placed elevator.
And that's it.
You know,
yep.
Something. Yeah.
Exactly. Which
is probably a good thing, I would say. It's probably a really nice, like, I don't feel like having to retread through.
Right.
If you can warp out. It's been a few months since I played.
So, how are you, like, do you like the crafting system in this game?
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
When I played it.
So you can build, like, an army of robots. That's kind of like, for some of the more community building players out there, like, you can replace all your settlers with robots.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can build them and customize them, make them do whatever you want. And the customization's rather deep, since you can't equip them with armor. You can like customize them with their own types of robot armor, which is neat.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
It does seem to eat up your resources though. So there's that. There's a lot of good lootable stuff in the new dungeon, but overall I'd say it takes about 2.5 hours to like run through.
Okay.
But then maybe another hour or 2 of scrounging and whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out because I mean, with Fallout 3, that was the other Fallout I had played, or at least the most recent one, and I had played most of the DLC. I think there was Mothership Zeta, might have been the one that I didn't play.
Okay.
Which is weird, because you would think that would be the one that I had most interest in. But I know I played like 2 to 3 of them, and I liked most of them, even when the game was just locking up on me. I was enjoying it. But I am excited to dig into these just to see what they've got cooking. I'm just interested.
Yeah, and I mean, it adds like new hordes of like roaming robots.
Yeah, and robots are cool, right?
Yeah, I think it really expands it. It brings back the Robo Brains. There's more iBots. Sadly, you can't. It doesn't look like you can build an iBot. I don't know if you can.
And like you said, I like the idea of creating robot shopkeepers and customizing them. I got a little into building up like a cool fort.
Well, then you're gonna dig that then.
Like I definitely, because like I love those kinds of games like Minecraft, Dragon Quest Builders. I've got real deep into anything like that I'm building something myself. I can get into. Fallout 4 I thought was really cool, but there was, I think, just control wise, it wasn't as good as I would want it to be for like customize, like building up a building or something, but it was still pretty cool. And I love just like, I would go on, there was a specific subreddit created just for community creations.
Sure.
And that was always fun to look at. So
yeah. And so since there's a new faction, and then there's also just robots, like that's more like random encounters with just cool stuff that you have to fight.
Okay. So other than, I guess, like the mainline like quest line throughout this DLC, was there any other kind of new thing that you found?
Not particularly. There's a new type of weapon called a lightning gun.
Okay. That's
kind of neat. And then there's a new type of power armor, which is Tesla.
Okay. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So this is, do you know the schedule for this DLC stuff?
It's, the first announced 3 or the next 3 months. So this time next month we'll get the Pokemon one.
The Pokemon one?
You, like, catch Deathclaws and fight them.
Oh.
And I think it revamps some of the community building, settlement building.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, see that I thought you'd be interested in.
Okay. And then I guess late May would probably be the
And then
other one
late
we were
May is
talking
the
about.
good one, is the one we're all waiting to play.
And that would lead up to about a couple weeks before E3, where I'd probably announce more. Maybe. Who even knows? They're having their press conference again
maybe
this year.
Obsidian
So.
walks on the stage and they're like,
Oh, dude.
"What's up, Fallout New Orleans?"
New Orleans. Sure.
I would love that.
Sure. Why not? So that's right. Yeah, I'm curious the way some of this other DLC will pan out. I'll definitely check it out in the next week or so, and I'll message you about it, and we can talk more. And then a couple other things. So, Brad, I hear you've just been really invested in this Broforce game. So I guess you haven't played as much as I thought you might have, because it was just constantly showing that up on your PSN name on the friends list. But a quick 5-second review, I guess. Or you played, what, 30 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no good on the PS4, and
yeah.
I like the characters. The characters are at least funny.
Yeah.
It'll probably be fun with 4 players, but I didn't really love it that much.
Yeah,
it's a party
played,
trick game. How about that? 5 seconds. It's a party trick game.
There you go. And then I brought this up, so I finished Ocarina of Time this week, and it's actually I think it's the first time I ever finished that game. I've started it 15 to 20 times, and we get pretty deep, but I would always get sidetracked.
Yeah.
So that's it. Other than the 2 DS games, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, I have played all mainline Zelda games.
Okay.
Which I feel good about. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever is awaiting us at the end of this year. Actually, maybe I'm not, because it's Nintendo, so who knows?
Who knows what's going on there? I have Star Fox pre-ordered. I don't know.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I want to get it, but
20% on Prime.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I'm more excited for the pack-in game than I am for Star Fox.
Wow.
Which, like, I'm excited about Star Fox, but Slippy getting his own game, just
it's
I
kind
need
of a
to
neat,
know.
It's kind of a neat tie-in, right?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably get that and whatever else. I mean, whatever else Nintendo's putting out, I don't know. It's like that and Zelda. There's that Paper Mario. Anyways, Ocarina of Time is great. I know that's not a common opinion or anything.
Now, where did you usually stop? Like, how far had you gotten prior to this?
Typically I'd get 1 to 2 dungeons into the adult Link.
So yeah,
part
that's
of
a
the
good
game.
place to quit.
Yeah.
I would always quit at the Shadow Temple.
Okay.
I'd go so far as to do the Spirit Temple first, and then still quit and not do the Shadow Temple.
Yeah, so I played the 3DS version. I got it because it recently went to $20 as the Nintendo Classics.
Right.
And this game, for a while, up until recently, it got reprinted, was actually pretty rare and expensive.
Oh wow.
The 3DS version, at least, because it was they hadn't done a print run on it in a while, and so it just became very rare. But it went down to $20. So I was like, okay, now's the time to get in and finally actually finish this game. It taught me that I really don't like fighting the Stalfos. I don't like fighting him, at least in that game. But I don't know. Much like when I played A Link to the Past, my experience with it was always very much more historical than it was. Like, I enjoyed it, and I was like, this is a great game. But more often than not, I was like, this was probably really crazy at the time when it released. Like, just thinking about, like, you know, what year it would have been and where games were at the time, and the idea of, like, this was it. Like, this was the first 3D Zelda, and, like, thinking of all the things that it did, but...
Oh, it did so much.
Yeah. It's certainly... You know, Majora's Mask is the greatest Zelda ever made, of course.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But
it's one of those things where it's like... This game... I don't expect this to be the case, but I would love for this next Zelda game to to have that feeling of, wow, this certainly is a Zelda game, but it's so different, and like they're doing things that we haven't seen before. And I don't expect that to be the case. But I would love, I want to be wowed by this new Zelda. It's recently, like, in the past few weeks, it's been like, wow, like, that game's probably coming out this year. Hopefully.
I don't know.
And we've only seen, like, a couple minutes of it, but I want to believe that it could really just, like, it could be the great closer of 2016.
Maybe.
But I don't know what the chances are of that happening.
I'm just kind of dreading what gimmick they're gonna tack onto this that makes me hate it.
Yeah.
Like that dowsing mechanic from the last game.
Oh, Skyward Sword.
Oh,
the great Skyward Sword.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from it, but I'm glad I finally finished this game and have it done.
Somebody. Wait. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
So somebody like mocked up Legend of Zelda on that fake NX controller.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, I didn't see the actual video. I only saw pictures. That looks really good.
Yeah, it was. Well, the thing is, I mean, I have a closing question that has to do with the fake NX controller leak.
Okay.
From this week. So we'll just get into that. When I saw the first picture, and that's technically the picture that was proven fake by the leaker today, because there was the other one that popped up yesterday that had like a black model of the controller.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I immediately was like, that can't be real, is because in my head I was like, how can I play Zelda on that? that was my barometer, was like, okay,
sure,
how would Zelda, like, because like Mario, you could figure something out. Of course, all the Metroid games they're making, you could figure something out for that. But I kept thinking, like, how would you do Zelda? Because you would need, like, there are certain things that you would just inherently need for a Zelda game,
right.
Theoretically at least. Although I guess maybe Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks is a different case. But yeah, so if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a mock-up of the leaked controller with footage from the Game Awards from a couple years back of the new Zelda game. And it's like, you've got your two analog sticks, and like you press down one and it like pulls up a radial menu of all the different tools and items you would have. Like your hook shot, your bow, and whatnot. And then like the other one has like GameCube layout buttons. And then you've got like the hearts along the top, like curved edge. It was cool. I saw that and I was like, all right, that's actually kind of interesting. I don't know.
It's interesting, but
I don't know if
it's kind of obnoxious.
I don't know if I would like it, but it's interesting nonetheless. But that did inspire me. I don't know if this is something we've ever really talked about. What's your favorite controller ever?
Yeah, that's a damn good question. That's definitely something, and that's something we have not talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite controller, like, I mean, go in nostalgia mode, like the 64.
Yeah,
but like then again, that GameCube is held up for so long that they sell
the GameCube
adapters
controller
for it.
is kind of like your underdog. Like you think about it, it's like it's a weird one, but that's a really good controller.
It's true, but the C stick is so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when like I remember playing some first-person shooter games using that. It just didn't work.
That didn't work. Yeah, that seems strange. I don't know if I've ever played a first-person shooter with a GameCube controller, but that does seem
like you got to
weird.
give it to the PlayStation. Like they've never really had to change it because they started with pretty much perfection, and they just made the Quattro like way more ergonomic. So
right, and like because I'm like writing down this question, I was like, I want to say that, but that almost feels really boring. So I kind of want to steer away from saying the DualShock, because it's like, I mean, that's the one I've used probably more than any controller ever by far.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, because the design hasn't really changed too much. There's been little bits and things that were different from generation to generation, but the DualShock inherently has been the DualShock for a very long time. Coming up on 20 years now. I really like the Super Nintendo controller. Like, that was the one that popped in my head.
Okay.
I mean, the Xbox controller's good too. It's not one that I've used as much, but that's also kind of like a gimme. I don't know. Like GameCube is like weirdly enough the one that's like, yeah, I just like want to play games on that thing.
Yeah, the sensitive like shoulder buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shoot, I don't know.
Yeah, so something to think about at the very least. It's not something I think often about.
I'm gonna be lame and I'm gonna say the PS4's controller though.
Yeah.
It's just it's great.
It's really, really good. And not just because this is what our site is mostly focused on. It's like it's just a really solid iterative design.
I mean, if you know me though, like I'm always critical of Sony stuff, so.
Yeah. That's yep.
Nothing gets a free pass, so I'm gonna
That's right.
It's an okay endorsement.
There you go. I think that's gonna do it for us. If you're listening, what's your favorite controller? I would like to know. I'm curious to hear different reasons for a variety of different controllers. Brad, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get our regular podcast going up again at some point soon.
Yeah.
We'll get all four of us together talking about different games. What's your plans for this weekend? You playing anything in particular?
Nothing in particular because I'm visiting the folks out in the Safari Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be stuck with mobile gaming.
Okay. Speaking of the Safari Zone, really quick, I want your hot take. Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon.
Oh, that's old and busted. It's all about Pokemon Go.
Okay, it's fair. Okay.
Those pictures leaked today.
Yeah. Did you see the video that came out of GDC? They used a Master Ball to capture Bulbasaur or something.
Oh man!
And someone's like, "That's fake. You wouldn't use a Master Ball to capture him." Which I thought was funny.
That's a good point.
Oh, at any rate, if they want to follow you on Twitter, you're at btrain87.
Correct.
I am at pspenguin. Or you can follow the site at PSNStores. You can also go to patreon.com/PSNStores if you like the things that we do and support us there. We got YouTube stuff, podcast, whatever. We got a variety of different things. You can go to youtube.com/PSNStores. I'm not sure the direct link, but you can complain about my Salt and Sanctuary review like everybody else. So that can be fun. But that's going to do it this week. Everybody have a good Easter weekend if you're celebrating Easter. If not, just have a good weekend.
All right.
And we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week.